So what I'm going to share here with you might trigger some of you, while others will resonate with it deeply and realize that what I'm sharing here is truth. So, you see, life will always play out the way it was supposed to play out in the first place. And there is nothing that you, as this character that you're playing, this persona that you're wearing, there is nothing that you can do to change how life will play out. Now, this might trigger some people because we were conditioned to control life, to manage our life, to change our life, to just this illusion of control. We were conditioned into behaving like that and believing in control on a subconscious level. And some people also are very conscious of that sense of control that they want to have. And this is how we were conditioned. But once you dive deeper within yourself and you actually observe your life carefully, you will realize that it could not be any different than the way it is. It doesn't matter how much you want to change the unfolding of life, you cannot do it. Now, then why do some people still believe that we have some sense of control? Well, because you see, the divine is playing through every single person, through every single thing that is on this planet and all other dimensions and so on. So the divine is expressing itself through us. And if the divine wants to express itself in a way where it's just bound to this illusion of control, then this is how it's going to express. And it will feel like you're doing things. It will feel like you're controlling your life, you're changing your life. But if you stop and look deeper, you will see that you're not really doing it. It's the life force within you that moves you to do it. And you didn't manufacture that life force. It's the life force wants to move you in that direction. It wants you to do this thing. It wants you to change your life. That's because that's how the divine is playing through that person. And if you're trying to fulfill your desires, but it doesn't matter what you do, they just don't happen. You cannot fulfill them. That's actually one of the biggest blessings you can receive if you really take a step back and see the truth, which is that not getting your desires fulfilled will push you into surrender. It will push you into the realization that you, as this persona, are not in control of anything. And that's the biggest blessing, because you don't carry that weight anymore with you. You don't feel like you need to improve your life. You don't feel like you need to improve yourself. You don't feel like you need to do this and do that. If it comes naturally to you as a byproduct of your life force guiding you to do certain things, then you cooperate with that. Yes, of course. I mean, I make these videos and I have a clothing brand and I do this and I do that. But I realize that it's not really this persona that it's doing it. It seems like it, but it's the life force within that is moving this persona to do all these things. And that's good news. That's good news because you don't have to put that pressure on you. It's most people are carrying weights that they don't need to carry. If you can actually allow life to play out the way it was supposed to play out, without you resisting it, without you wanting some specific outcome and trying to control the outcome and the unfolding of your life, you will live a much more peaceful existence. Um, you will realize that it was never about control. It was never about changing your life. It was never about manifesting your desires. It was never about getting a new relationship, earning more money. It was never about these things. It was about coming back to yourself and remembering the truth, remembering that you are just in this movie, and the movie will play out the way it was already recorded, because the movie has already happened. Your entire life has already happened. If you see reality like this 3D reality from a higher perspective, you will see that everything has already happened at the same time, which means that you were already born and you already died in an instant. But just to be able to experience this life, there needs to be time to slow it down, and you actually have that journey and that experience and so on. So everything that will happen in your life has already happened on the deeper level, which means that there is nothing you can do about it. Now, does this mean that you throw your hands up and you lay in bed all day and you don't do nothing? No, it means that you watch yourself, you observe yourself doing your life, but you also remember that this is what it needs to be. You still do the things that you need to do in your life. It's not like you stop doing everything. If you like to meditate, you meditate. If you need to go to work, you go to work. If you have a passion, you do your passion. If you want to read, you read. If you want to make art, you make art. If you want to make music, you make music. But you realize that it's not this persona that is actually doing these things. It's the life force, it's the divine working through this persona to express itself. Everything is an expression of the divine, and this is where all judgment disappears. Because if you deeply realize this, um, why would you judge someone as this persona that they're playing? Why would you judge them if you deeply realize that they're not in control? They're not choosing on the deepest level. They're not choosing who they want, who they are. They're not choosing their actions. Their actions just stem from a deeper place, and they have no other choice but to act on them. And even if there is a moment of change in behavior, let's say, it's still the life force that initiates that change of behavior. So why would you judge anyone, including yourself, for anything? It's like this movie is running itself, and it's like you are just grateful to be a participant in that movie. But you also realize that the burdens you're putting on yourself by thinking that you need to control something, that goes out the door. And then the judgment falls away. It's like you accept people the way they are, and you don't try to change them because you realize you can't. So yeah, this is something that um, some of you will actually resonate with, Because as Jesus Christ said, once you hear the truth, you will recognize the truth, and the truth will set you free. And if you deeply realize what I'm sharing here, it will set you free. You will feel sense of freedom. You will feel like, I can participate in this life without worrying, without having fear, without having an anxiety. And this does not mean that you don't experience these things, but you don't cling to them. It's like they come and they go. You just experience them. And that's why we came here on this planet. It's to experience the fullness of life. So the next time you try to manage and control, remember that it's not really you who is doing it. It's the life force within. It's the divine taking an expression through you. And I don't know, this is not a realization that you can make yourself have. It's you need to observe life if that's what you're drawn towards. You need to observe life carefully and see that everything that has ever happened in your life could not be any different. And then you realize that everything that will happen cannot be any different. Because when you look back at your life, at the level of consciousness that you were back then, you think that you made some mistakes, but while you were doing them, you couldn't realize that they were mistakes. Only when you look back and that conditioning kicks in, you think that you made mistakes, but you didn't make any mistake, because the level of consciousness that you had back then could not act in a different way. So these mistakes were divinely ordained. Every single thing is divinely ordained. And that's hard to accept, because there is suffering, there are people who kill people, there are people who steal, and that's all divinely ordained. But it's the conditioning that we get, that we think that something is bad, when in reality you cannot see the ultimate truth. No one can see the ultimate truth while in this reality. There is always some level of conditioning and ego that it's always there, and it doesn't allow you to see everything in the fullest perspective. And this is why we think that something is bad, something bad is happening in your life. But if you're wise enough, you can actually see that it's a blessing. It's an act of love from the divine. It's trying to wake you up. It's trying to wake you up to truth, wake you up to the divine, and to remember that you're not this persona. It's just a character that you're experiencing, and just being grateful for that, being grateful for everything in life. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for being here. Check out the description box. There are some links there, like my clothing brand, my website, and if you like to contact me, there is an email also. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.